The line for the Dogs and Wolverines is out. Georgia, about a touchdown favorite to beat Michigan, so the same margin, around a little bit more than they were favored against Alabama, but not by much. So Georgia with a pretty solid line coming in this game gives them about a 68, something like that percent chance to win based on the past. And this is going to be a real fight. Georgia, I think, is the more talented team, and they both play very similarly. Michigan with a defense that is as good as anyone in the country that's not named Georgia, and offense that is very good. This Michigan team has come into this game. They are playing better than any of the four playoff teams in terms of their most recent games. So obviously Alabama and Auburn, Georgia and Alabama, and then Cincinnati has played well, but probably not as well as Michigan of late. So I think they're hot. I think if this game were next weekend, maybe the line would be lower. I don't know, but the other interesting thing about this line is that you've got an extremely low over under. Now that's not shocking considering how good these defenses are, but for Georgia and Michigan, you're looking at an over under of about 44 points, give or take a little bit. And then it always seems like when you're expecting a defensive fight that an offensive, firepower starts flowing from everywhere. A lot of interesting lines. The Clemson Iowa State game, you can get that as Iowa State as a favorite or Clemson. That's kind of curious to me. I wouldn't have thought that. Obviously, the Miami game has plummeted. The Canes were a what I would call a pretty good favorite, and now they are just kind of hanging on there. I think I said Washington. I meant Washington State, but Alabama is a 13.5 to 14 point favorite over Cincinnati. I think Cincinnati's secondary is certainly going to be something that Alabama is going to be. It's going to be curious to see them deal with that, because the Bearcats have a first round guy, probably a first round guy as a defensive back. That game might be a touch closer than people will give it credit for. I fully expect Alabama to win that game. I expect Georgia to win this game. But I think there's plenty of doubt out there right now. I think there's a lot of Michigan people that are doubting that Michigan will win. So there's a lot of there's a lot of negativity on the Georgia side for sure, but they just lost a game to a big team in what was the most important game of the season at that point. But the season has started over. If you listen to Kirby Smart on Sunday here on Dawg Post, make sure, by the way, that you're taking advantage of our $2 for 2 months deal right down below. A lot of people have been signing up for that. I really appreciate everybody doing it. It's a great Christmas gift for everybody. We got signing day coming right up. If you listen to what Kirby had to say yesterday, um, he's right. I mean, he said basically everybody's starting over. Everything's brand new as of right now. The competition is going to be, who practices the best, who eats the right way, et cetera. So, Georgia's going to have to get through exams. I think everybody else is going to have to get through them too. But they start this week for Georgia. I don't think they're going to practice again until Thursday. I don't know when the next media availability will be, but it will come up in December a few times. But this, that 7 point line, a touchdown in football is not a toss up game. It is a one team should win game. And more often than not, the team that is the favored team wins, particularly when they are a touchdown favorite. Um, when you're going into this game as the favorite, you're playing in South Florida. I don't think that weather will really be a big factor unless it starts raining on you. The only thing that I can think of that would be a little strange, Michigan can't replicate practicing in, lower 80-degree weather because in Miami at that time of the year, I've covered the Orange Bowl twice, and it is not cold down there at all. But I don't know if that's really something that you would be concerned about. Um, Miami weather, like today, for instance, um, it's 78 degrees in Miami right now when I'm recording this. So could that be something that is problematic for the Wolverines? It could be. I mean, there's the next 4 days in Miami is 81, 82 on Sunday. So I mean, when you're playing games in the 30s, that can be tough. Most guys don't like playing in the cold. Does it matter to play in the warm in the summer in the winter? I mean, I think it could. I think it could. I think, and all things considered, you'd rather play in a dome if you were a coach because these guys are control freaks or just freaks in general, and they want to do what they can control. So I don't know. I mean, I think the line is about right. I thought it would be anywhere from 7 to 10. I think it could move a little bit. We'll just see. But a lot of the money is already in. If you really want to get this game at 9, you can get it somewhere. Georgia being a 9-point favorite. That seems a little high for me, but I don't think 7 is high at all. I think Georgia's a better team. I think they played they played their worst game of the year the other day, and Alabama played either their best or second best play of the year. People overreact immediately, and we're just going to see what happens when we get down to Miami Gardens and watch these two teams fight. This will be one of the largest television audiences in the history of both of these schools. Michigan has not played in a game this big. Now, I'm not being hyperbolic. They've not played in a game this big since they played for the national championship, their share of it in the 1997 season. So it's been a long time. Um, and I think that both fan bases are going to be very eager to watch this game, see this game. The tickets are going up and up, insofar as I can tell, on secondary markets. Orange Bowl typically has a hard time or harder time selling tickets to their games because of different reasons I won't explain right now, but some of it location. And but Georgia will be the away team, but I think that them being favored makes sense to me. We'll see how this goes. I find it hard to believe it dips too far below 7, as Georgia being the favorite and Michigan being the dog. These two teams are very similar. That's going to be the narrative, but Georgia has more weapons. Don't confuse yourself. They have far more weapons, and don't get into a narrative that one team is not going to be able to run on the other because the defenses are so strong. All of that can change during a game. You bust one run, you hit one throw like Alabama did, and the game can change. So, but Michigan does not have explosive players to the level of Alabama players. So that's just one thing to keep in mind too. I don't know about the over/under going any higher or lower. That seems really low. I'm not going to lie. That's a low line for any competent football teams. And Michigan and Georgia have only played a few games where it's been under 43 between the 26 games they've played this season. That might be something that I go over in a future video. Thanks for watching. We'll see you over on Dawg Post. Take care of it, and make sure you're getting that $2 offer. It's awesome. It's right down below.